The plan to lure Xinyun to my cave, then do it on the spot, ultimately did not come true. Feeling overwhelmed, I accidentally caught a glimpse of a figure hurriedly passing under the tree. Stepping back a little, my forehead resting on Xinyun's pounding chest, I breathed in the fresh air and muttered incomprehensibly, "It's Nguyen Phu, she's not in the cave in the middle of the night, what's she doing at Tu Dong Tien?" Thinking about the possibility that Van Phu could come with me, I felt depressed. Just as I was about to pull Xinyun away, Xinyun sniffed and frowned. "There's a smell of blood." He looked in the direction Nguyen Phu left. Having just received punishment from the penal hall, Nguyen Phu still couldn't walk normally. A day ago, Nguyen Phu was punished after being convicted. The sect still pitied her weak body, considering that she had admitted her mistake, and seemed to be sincerely repentant, so they only gave her a symbolic punishment of 10 lashes. If it was a normal cultivator, she would be able to function normally the next day. But her cultivation was poor, and she could only endure with her body, which was why she looked so miserable. I lowered my voice and said, "She was punished just yesterday, she should be recuperating now, why did she go out in the middle of the night?" Then Van turned his head to look at me, the worry in his eyes deepened, he held my hand and said, "Let's go, let's follow and see." "Wait, before we go, stick this on your body." I quickly took out 2 invisibility talismans from the Qian Kuan grate, both were gifts from the Sword Soul, and were just right for use. I secretly followed Nguyen Phu, although she was highly alert, observing the surroundings as she walked, but her cultivation was poor, and she couldn't use her spiritual power to sense my and then Van's existence. The place she went to seems to be S2 Peak? The smell of blood came from the bag Nguyen Phu was carrying in his hand. After circling Su Xiu Peak, she picked up the bag, her eyes under the moonlight seemed gloomy, making my skin crawl. I couldn't help but hold Xinyun's hand tightly. Nguyen Phu suddenly smiled brightly, not knowing who he was talking to. "Sorry, I've already killed you, your bones can't be wasted, I'm going to, or, throw it in front of senior sister's cave?" I was stunned. Killing someone and then dumping the body. And still wanting to throw it in front of my cave, could it be that they want to blame me? Sure enough, I guessed right. Nguyen Phu walked straight to my cave, opened the bag, saw the familiar silver fur, along with the deadly blue beast eyes. I got goosebumps. It was the remnant beast. In the secret realm, Nguyen Phu clearly loved the remnant beast, took care of it with all his heart, yet now he cruelly killed it. I don't understand. Could it be that he just wanted to blame me because he was unwilling? Then Van was furious, anger burning in his eyes. Seeing him about to step forward to stop me, I quickly pulled his sleeve. "Wait, I have a great idea." Early the next morning, I was awakened by Nguyen Phu's sobbing. When I finished getting ready and walked out of the cave, people were coming and going, bustling like a market. Everyone's eyes were filled with anger as if I had done something terrible. Among them was Van Phu. His voice was cold. "Lang Xie, you did a good thing." "What did I do?" Nguyen Phu cried until her eyes were swollen, wanting to say something but stopping. Her choked and sorrowful appearance moved everyone comforted her. After crying enough, Nguyen Phu took out a small silver bell from the Qian Kuan bag. The bell's tongue was covered in blood. "This is what I put on the remnant general beast. Yesterday, the remnant general beast sneaked out to play, and didn't come back all night. Early this morning, I was worried about its safety, so I went out to look for it. Unexpectedly, I found its bell in front of senior sister's cave, on it. She couldn't continue, and burst into tears again. When Fu clasped her hands behind her back, her aura intimidating. "Ling Xie, I know you're dissatisfied with Nguyen Phu. To vent your anger, you attacked that pitiful beast. Your methods are so despicable, making people look down on you." I curled my lips and smiled, taking a step forward. Everyone retreated like a tide. Nguyen Phu and I faced each other. Apart from the bell, did you discover anything else in front of my cave? I immediately caught Nguyen Phu's panicked eyes for a moment, but she was very good at hiding it, her face revealing fear of me. Senior sister, isn't that bloody bell enough to prove everything? I shook my head. Nguyen Phu coldly snorted, no tears until you see the coffin. I wasn't afraid at all, looking around at the people who were prejudiced against me, suspecting me of being the culprit. Finally my eyes stopped on Nguyen Phu. According to your logic, seeing the bell of the remnant beast in front of my cave means that I killed it. If we find the bones of the remnant beast in front of someone's cave, wouldn't that be more solid evidence? I don't know what Nguyen Phu's mentality was, but he seemed to really want to convict me and force me to submit, so he resolutely said, finding the bones is enough to prove everything. Nguyen Phu nodded, the bones are the clearest evidence. I laughed. Nguyen Phu was stunned by my smile. He clenched his fist and said, I will now go report to the sect leader, so that he can mobilize all the sect's forces to search for the remnant beast's body. The result was very clear. The remains of the remnant beast were found in front of Nguyen Phu's cave. How is this possible? Nguyen Phu's face turned pale. Nguyen Phu was also startled, eldest senior brother, I returned her words verbatim, Nguyen Phu is innocent and pure, she said that the bones are evidence, then they are evidence. Senior brother, are you jealous because the sect master favors little junior sister? I know you are dissatisfied with Nguyen Phu, you wanted to vent your anger, so you attacked the pitiful beast general, your methods are despicable, making people look down on you. You. Van Phu's eyes wavered, but with the words before, any excuses would become powerless, he resolutely did not say anything more. It was just that, the look he gave Nguyen Phu finally carried a trace of scrutiny. I brushed my sleeves, leisurely leaving. From afar, I saw my sword soul boyfriend waiting at the crossroads. I quickly threw myself into his arms, acting spoiled, they all bully me, only you are the best to me. Being thrown into my arms, Xinyun's delicate eyebrows were tinged with joy, his phoenix eyes also curved into a sparkling lake. If you're angry, I'll teach them a lesson. Okay, let's do it together. Looking at each other, we couldn't help but giggle together. He raised his hand, carefully trying to place it on top of my head, his movements clumsy. In the end, it was still me who grabbed his wrist, leading him to touch my hair. Even if it was just simple physical contact, he would be so nervous that he didn't know what to do. As usual, his whole body felt uncomfortable, the insteps of his feet were stiff, he stood on his tiptoes. I'm really fine, I just drank my tea a little too hastily. Xinyun blushed, be careful next time. I know. Xinyun secretly looked at me, turned around, and smiled foolishly. During that time, Nguyen Phu, who was sitting opposite, had a dark face. He looked Xinyun up and down after transforming. Xinyun ignored him. Except in front of me, facing anyone else, Xinyun was very calm, with a bit of the demeanor of an ancestor who had lived for more than 2,000 years. Nguyen Phu looked at me and said directly, you have the suture mirror, right? Can you lend it to me for a bit? I went to visit third master uncle, she said that she saw you and Xinyun appear near Shaodong Tian that day. I sneered, why should I lend it to you, what makes you think I would lend it to you? Nguyen Phu's face turned cold. I leaned forward, somewhat gloating, eldest senior brother, it's not pleasant to feel wronged, right? These past 2 days, the bright and brilliant first senior brother was suspected of being the murderer of the beastly general, and wherever he went, people pointed at him. He has always been a proud son of heaven, of course he cannot accept this difference. Nguyen Phu took a deep breath, you can make a condition. Xinyun's eyes suddenly lit up, he could not hide his emotions. He looked at me, both nervous and expectant. I smiled, took out the Qian Kuan die. Nguyen Phu's eyes immediately fixed on it. I only have one condition, you must cancel the blood oath with Xinyun, moreover, from now on, do not interfere in our affairs. If the blood oath between Xinyun and Wenfu is not resolved, it will definitely become a great danger in the relationship between Xinyun and me in the future. After meeting Wenfu in Tudong Tian, I started to plan. Fortunately, everything went according to my prediction when Fu finally came to the door. When Fu laughed, this laughter contained two complicated emotions. He held his forehead. Ling Gu, back then, when you stood in front of me and said you liked me at that moment, in fact, I had the intention to kill. I didn't say anything. My Tao doesn't allow your existence. I have foreseen that I will be distracted by your existence. The path of seeking Tao is dangerous and long. In the future, when I stand on the top of the clouds, what I have encountered is just a grain of sand in the ocean. Look, today, you and Xinyun's sword have become a pair. I feel heartache again. And regret it. If the Ling Gu who liked Wenfu before, hearing these words, would definitely be moved. But I wasn't. Ever since I made the heart demon oath, Xinyun no longer doubted my feelings. Wenfu's words made him frown in annoyance. All right. Wenfu suddenly stood up and said dejectedly, then I will fulfill both of you, and release the blood oath. A major obstacle was finally resolved by me. Before I could rejoice, I felt the earth and mountains shaking. Third Master Ant ran to the door panting, a rock fell, and she was almost hit. Stabilizing her body, she hurriedly said, it's not good, the seal of the ancient fierce beast has been shaken. It was Nguyen Fu. She used the bones of the remnant beast as a blood conductor, and broke the seal. I was shocked. This was not right. In the original work, there was basically no such plot. The seal of the ancient fierce beast, why was Nguyen Fu the one who released it? How could she have this ability? When Fu's expression was solemn, and she said with heartache, the sect has treated Nguyen Fu well, why did she do this? Thinking of a certain key point, he pursed his thin lips. Before, I had paid attention to investigate Nguyen Fu. Before entering the sect, she had learned some kind of forbidden technique in the demon realm. It seemed like she could share her lifespan with others. Then Van had lived for thousands of years. What strange thing had he not heard of? Just a little reminder, he blurted out, this kind of forbidden technique requires the beast pill of the ancient fierce beast, to refine the cultivator into a puppet, then it can share lifespan. I took a cold breath. The two of them looked at me at the same time. I looked at Van Fu with pity. No wonder in the book, Van Fu gave up cultivating the sword path without mercy, and even shared her lifespan with Nguyen Fu. It turned out, there was such a story hidden. Van Fu in the book, I'm afraid that Nguyen Fu had long since trained him into a soulless puppet, letting her control him. All those sweet, affectionate things were all fake. The reason Nguyen Fu did this was because her talent was extremely poor. If she still couldn't break through, as time passed, she would quickly age. Third Master Uncle shouted for us to go and reinforce. We absolutely cannot let the ancient fierce beast escape the seal. Let's charge together. It's just that, because Xinyun had just broken the blood oath with Wenfu, something went wrong. In the original work, Wenfu and the divine cloud sword were not at odds. The man and sword worked together extremely well, only then could they seriously injure the ancient fierce beast. But now, because of me, Wenfu's strength has been reduced. We only have one path left, to go all out and fight. In the darkness, we saw the Yinyang mountain shaking violently. The thunderous roar of the fierce beast seemed to want to tear the sky apart. Its huge body broke through the ground, the wind howled, and darkness enveloped it. The fierce beast is so big. The roar was like thunder, its breath was like a shower, its pupils were like a full moon. Every step, it shook the heavens and the earth. The sect master shouted with great force, disciples, listen to my orders, use your will as strong as a rock, prevent disaster, protect the peace of one side. After saying that, he was the first to charge forward. Next, were the elders. The spiritual energy was immense, roaming everywhere. During the chaos, I saw Nguyen Phu. Her whole body was in a mess, but she seemed to have gone crazy. Her once beautiful face was now extremely ferocious. The seal has been lifted. There is the ancient fierce beast. As long as I have the beast pill, I can share my lifespan with others. I want to be like you all, immortal, forever young and beautiful. I muttered, crazy. In framing me, Nguyen Phu was eager to succeed, leaving behind all sorts of loopholes. Perhaps she had anticipated that her true face would be exposed, so, in a hurry to achieve her goal, she awakened the ancient fierce beast ahead of schedule. It's just that, this time, without Nguyen Phu protecting her, she probably won't be able to rest in peace. Coincidentally, almost immediately after, the fierce beast was injured and its body was unstable, and it trampled Nguyen Phu into minced meat. Nguyen Phu stood from afar watching, his eyes cold. I didn't have time to think much. The sect master and the elders seemed to be no match for each other. And the health bar of the ancient fierce beast was not ordinary. Under the siege of the experts, it only suffered minor skin injuries. Charge! The little junior brother always complained about hardships when cultivating, regardless of danger, recklessly attacking. I'll fight you to the death. The junior sister who loved beauty threw the mirror away, sacrificing her magic weapon. In an instant, magic spells flew wildly. I took a deep breath, and flew up, the spiritual energy in my palm surging, attacking the ancient fierce beast. Nguyen Phu acted faster than me, body quickly covered by thick fog. Everyone worked together. The ferocious beast was quickly injured. At this moment, an accident suddenly happened. The ferocious beast struggled in its death throes, demonic energy poured out, like black rain. I only felt a storm before my eyes. I didn't have time to dodge. My shoulder was cut open, fresh blood continuously flowed out. Ling Gu, are you okay? Xin Yun immediately moved to my side, supporting my staggering body. I'm okay. I originally intended to treat my wound roughly, then rejoin the battlefield. Xin Yun's eyes were sad. He suddenly hugged my waist, and flew to a relatively safe place. Ling Gu, you stay here, I can handle it. His eyes were determined. How can you do it alone? Before I could finish speaking, Xin Yun waved his sleeve, and the barrier formed a shield, trapping me. He looked at me deeply, then turned and left. Xin Yun, come back, let me go. I had a bad feeling. In the chaotic situation, a light figure quickly attracted everyone's attention. Third Master Ant was attacked by the demonic energy, and hurriedly took a few steps back. Someone from behind supported her. She strangely turned her head and saw a strange young man, with long arms and broad shoulders, and agile movements. This is... Huh? Why do I smell the scent of the Xin Yun sword? Could it be, it really is the Xin Yun sword? In the midst of the fierce battle, someone was distracted and glanced at Xin Yun. I couldn't help but be shocked by his appearance after he transformed, and his agile movements. Spiritual energy shot out. I stood at a distance and watched, my heart extremely tense. In the blink of an eye, Xin Yun had already approached the ferocious beast. One person and one beast, under the moonlight, the contrast was even more obvious. For the first time, I directly felt Xin Yun's strength. The ferocious beast in front of him had lost the upper hand several times, was barely alive, it got angry, and stomped on it again. But Xin Yun's body was trapped, wrapped in demonic energy, and its movements were a step slower. Xin Yun! My heart ached. I watched helplessly as Xin Yun was trampled under the ferocious beast's feet, almost losing consciousness, my ears ringing. With a loud bang, the ferocious beast fell to the ground, dying. The barrier disappeared. I staggered forward, tears falling uncontrollably. I thought to myself, Xin Yun, nothing could have happened to him. However, I looked around, and couldn't see him, only an endless trail of blood, spreading to my feet. Thump! I couldn't hold on any longer, and knelt down on the ground. In my despair, I sensed a familiar breath, like the scent of fruit wine. Lingu, over here, over here. The white sword body was extremely prominent in the red blood, and he swayed his body towards me from afar. It turned out that, at the moment the ferocious beast stepped on him, Xinyun had been quick-witted, transforming into his original form. His original body was forged from a dragon bone, and was extremely sturdy. He was fine. My heart that was hanging in the air immediately calmed down. Hoo, you scared me to death. I knew, now that I was crying, it would definitely be ugly, but I couldn't control myself. Just now I kept thinking, I was about to lose Then Van restored his human form, and was thrown into my arms, almost falling to the ground. He smiled and said, I will be fine. I sobbed and asked him, why did he have to risk his life like this? At most, I would just let the sect master who always favored Nguyen Fu use his primordial spirit power to seal the ferocious beast. From afar, the sect master shivered. Then Van looked at me intently, blinking. Very quickly, I received a reply filled with Zen meaning. He said, the clear water will wash your eyes, the dirt will leave your footprints, the gentle breeze will retain your breath. Here, every single thing is you. I translated it directly as, I woke up late in the morning, hurriedly washed my face, and ran out of the cave like flying. My speed was so fast that it startled countless birds sleeping at night, while muttering, oh no. Oh no. I'm going to be late. Xinyun chased after me from behind, eat some spirit food before leaving, don't go hungry. This was my daily life. It happened almost every day. Therefore, he wanted to protect this goodness. Pfft. I burst out laughing. I raised my head to look at Xinyun. Tonight, come to my cave? No, from now on, you will stay in my cave. Xinyun was extremely embarrassed, nervously looking away. After a long while, he softly said yes. Next. Whatever you want to know, will have an answer. End.